which has been kindly organised by Just Share, which is based in St Mary Le Bow Church, just around the corner. If you haven't ever been to one of their lunchtime debates, then I can highly recommend them. So go to their website, check them out. Now, as you might have noticed, we've got an election happening next week, and Vote Global is all about putting international development and fighting poverty back at the heart of that debate. I know it's tempting and it's natural in the middle of a financial crisis to think about ourselves first. What's going to happen to the NHS? What's going to happen to our schools, to our public services? Will I have a job in a year from now, or how can I get my job back that I've already lost? Now, we're right to worry about these things, of course, but what I'm here today to say is that this isn't just happening here in the UK. Hundreds of millions of people are facing these same questions and more right around the world today. Already, using the latest data from 2005, there are more than 1.4 billion people living on less than $1.25 a day. And there's 3 billion people living on less than $2.50 a day. That's half the population of the world. Now, these people aren't really living, they're just surviving. Now that the financial crisis has hit, the International Labour Organization estimates another 200 million people will be thrown into extreme poverty. In many of these places, there is no dole, there's virtually no public health system, there's no pensions except for the rich. So I ask you, when you vote next week, to think about this. Think about what the political parties are saying about international development and about global poverty. Because what we do here, in one of the richest, most influential countries in the world, can have huge impacts on whether millions of people live or die, whether their children have a future or they don't. But that's not all. Because this isn't just about people in far-off countries. Thinking about poverty, thinking about the way the global economy is set up that keeps people poor, means also thinking about how that same setup affects us right here in the UK. Now, it's a pleasure, in a way, to be back here a year on from our demonstration on Financial Fool's Day. Then, thousands of us called for big changes in the economy to help stop us getting into this mess again. A lot of us here in the UK want to see the economy moving away from a dependence on debt, on housing, on the city, and towards an economy that's much more balanced towards exports, savings, manufacturing, and investing in the real productive economy instead of casino capitalism and speculation. None of the main parties really have any credible policies for doing this, though. What have we got instead? Bailouts, bonuses, business as usual. Oh, and massive cuts in public services that are going to hit most vulnerable people in the UK the hardest. So when you vote next Thursday, think about people in poor countries. Think about the struggles that they face on a daily basis and what we can do to help them. Think about the kind of future we want here in the UK for us and for our children. Because we deserve to have real involvement and real debate, not just let's get back to growth and making as much profit as quickly as possible. Here are two places we could start. The first is the Robin Hood tax. There's a tiny tax of 0.005% every time financial institutions trade pound sterling. This alone can raise up to $400 billion for fighting global poverty, investing domestically, and helping developing countries adapt to climate change. It's also enough to pay for the entire NHS twice over. The second thing we can do, crack down on tax havens. Commercial banks, like the ones within earshot now, are dodging tax worth at least £100 billion a year to the UK. but it's worth £250 billion to poor countries. They often use complex financial instruments based in places like Jersey, the Cayman Islands. Many of these tax havens are British, and that we can open them up to public scrutiny. Now, either of these measures could be implemented within months, but the government has to be forced. It has to hear it from you as voters. So contact your MP, ideally straight after the election, and talk to them about this. Make your feelings known, demand some real changes. Or you can go to our website, sign up for our updates, and find out the latest actions you can take. But above all, get involved, because poverty, environmental damage, unemployment and exploitation are not inevitable. They're the result of decisions made by people in power every day. You can fight these problems, but you've got to get angry and you've got to get involved. The election's next week. With your help, we can help make sure these changes will be bigger, deeper and longer lasting than just the next government. Thank you very much.